Hello guys, this is a quick video that should help you with your assignments. I'm going to go through just a few tips that I use when I ever have to do a secondary research report. So a lot of this is related to our research method of secondary research as well. So what I've got here is a document or a Word document. I'm going to use the death penalty as just an example for a topic, just for the purpose of the video. So step one when you're starting a research report, obviously, is to look at the assessment notification and the criteria of what you are required to do. So in this case, I know we've already gone through this. Most of you have picked or selected a topic, so I'm not going to go through that. This little next part of the assessment notification is a scaffold of what you should include in your report, and below it are the requirements there as well. So what I've done and what I do and what you guys should do is this is on our Google Classroom, is probably cut and paste this section here onto your Google Doc or Word document, whatever you're working with, and then you've got all that information here. Now you're going to use this as your guide as you're completing your research to make sure that you're hitting every key component that you need to for this assignment. So that's the first thing, prep your document. The second thing that you want to do is to start doing some background research, okay, on the issue. So that's a simple thing like chucking in death penalty into Google, having a read of a few different websites and background information on it, just so that you're really familiar with the topic before you start to write it, okay? That'll be a really good strategy that you can use. After you've done that, the third step that you want to do is looking back here at your scaffold and seeing what it is you need to answer next. So I can see here there are 3 main points that I need to be answering in this essay, and I've got these in the dot points here. So the first one is outlining the nature of the contemporary issue. You might even want to take charge of highlighting certain sections and making them stick out, which I'm going to do here. Again, do whatever works best for you, but these are just different strategies that you can use, okay? So they're the 3 main things I know that I need to cover, okay? What I'm going to start to do first is you want to start small, and you want to start by answering these sort of sub-questions here, okay? So my first thing is, what is it? So to me, that screams of, I need some definitions of what that is. So usually just typing this in will get you some various definitions up. If you literally want, you can type in definition there at the end and you'll get a definition here. Now, to me, punishment by execution, it's short and sweet there, but I feel like if I'm doing this as an assignment, I'm going to go into more depth than that. I'm not just going to use that as a definition. So what I might do is I might get a bunch of different websites up. Amnesty is a good source. Got the BBC, Law Council of Australia, okay, so that's a government website. So I might look at a few different websites and read up on this to get a really good solid understanding of what the death penalty means, and then I'll almost essentially write my answer here, okay? So it might be something like, I'm just making this up, the death penalty is a state endorsed execution of a member of the community for committing a serious crime such as murder or drug trafficking. What you might do then is you might talk about what the definition of the death penalty is in Australia. Now, obviously Australia doesn't have the death penalty, but you could look at it prior to when it existed, but then even looking at it in terms of different countries that have it. So some countries, for example, would use the death penalty for murder. Some might not use it for murder. Some might do it for drug trafficking. Some might not do it for drug trafficking. So when we're saying what is it and the definitions, I'm not just after a single sentence, or if I just go to the first page of Google and type in those 3 words, that's not going to cut it. So you want to go more into depth on that, okay, and really explore what it is, okay? So that's just an example there of how to break it down. And so what you'll find is that after you do each example, you're going to end up with all these different sentences of information, and then what you can do towards the end is you simply delete these subpoints, and then you've got a nice flowing essay there ready to go. Okay, so that's just a strategy that you might want to use. I found it definitely works for me, and it helps you keep on track as well. Okay, so that's my second thing. My third thing, sorry. My fourth thing is, I see a lot of you, a lot of students do this at school. They'll just type in the question, like that. You'll literally go, and I don't know why people do this, but say we've got provide some contextual understanding of the issue. So some people go, provide some contextual understanding of the death penalty, thinking that that's going to give them the best sort of answer. So this is a really lengthy word search. Now sometimes that might work for you, okay? But then people, I've noticed they're just reading here. They're not actually clicking into websites. They'll just click this and go endlessly through all of these different Google suggestions, and then they end up going down a really dark path about, does the UAE have the death penalty? Then you start to go, is Christianity allowed in Dubai? All of a sudden you're looking at how many wives can you have in Dubai, and you've just gone straight off topic. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to see anyone going down that rabbit hole, because that's not helpful in the slightest at all. You actually have to go in and do some reading. You'll have to work it out. You'll have to spend some time doing it. It's not a quick tick and flick thing, okay? So that's really important there to note. Okay, so go beyond Google's first pop-up. The second tip is to go beyond Google's first page. Okay, you might find a lot of really good websites, and what I'm looking at here is I'm finding .edu websites, a journal. So JSTOR is a scientific academic journal that you can look at. So we've got really good sources here that are right beyond the first page of Google. .org. All of these things in the second page look really good, whereas if I look at the first page, what I've got, I've still got some government and education websites, and a lot of these still look really good, but sometimes you get things like Wikipedia, sometimes you get things like dictionary.com and things that aren't really as reliable. So first, go beyond Google's first pop-up, but then go beyond the first page as well and actually start reading things. So that's 4 and 5. 6 would be to try different word combinations as well. So rather than just typing this out word for word, if I'm to break this down, provide some contextual understanding of the issue. So to me, and when we break this down, this is looking at a bit more background information on the death penalty. So I might type in death penalty origins, okay? So I might look back at when it actually first started, what was the purpose of the death penalty, why was it even introduced in the first place, and then I might look at death penalty abolishment Australia. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm typing in keywords, okay? I don't have to type in when was the death penalty in Australia gone. Do you know what I mean? I'm not asking Google questions. The best way to get an answer is to type in keywords, and Google will take that into account, okay? Another thing, or tip number 7, is, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's a thing called Google Scholar, and what that does is a different search engine that Google has, and rather than searching for different websites, they're going to be searching for academic journal articles. So these are things written by university level professors and academics and the like. So you're going to have a lot of really good resources here that you can use. A lot of them are free. Sometimes when you go to the website, it'll ask you to pay for something, but that's fine. You just go back here and you look for things that are free. So like if I go public opinion on the death penalty, that looks like it could be quite interesting. I go to the website now. I've only got a page here that it's giving me, but that might end up having useful information. Or you can try click that PDF button and the thing comes up for you. Okay, and so this is a academic journal article. Now you might want to just read the first couple of pages to see if it's evident. A handy trick with these articles as well is you can go usually to the bottom and they have a summary or a conclusion, and then you can sort of see what the key points of the research is about. And what you can also do as well, because most of these are footnoting as well here, you can see where they've gotten their information from and then go and look that up additionally as well. So there's lots of different things you can do in that realm there. Another really handy tool while we're on this topic, say you've got a really big article like this and you are just at the point where you want to find out who is for it or who is against it. There's a cool little key command and it's called Control F, which stands for control find. You press Control F and a little thing will come up. And you can type in keywords here. And what's going to happen, now that's a scanned copy, that's why that's not going through. But let's say I'm on a website, okay, and I want to find out who might be against it. Okay, I can type in the keyword against up here, and if I cycle through, it's going to show me where that keyword is. Okay, so you can sift through information to try and find keywords or key themes that you're after. Okay, if you want to know more about government, where they stand on it, there's only one mention of government on this entire web page, so I might go and look at a different website to see if there's more mention of the government. Okay, there's none here. So there's quicker ways for you guys to work around trying to sort and sift through information. That Control F button is really, really handy when you're doing research. I've used it heaps as well. My ninth piece of advice would be to chip away at it. So things like noticing that, okay, you might say to yourself, this is worth 1,500 words. I've got 7 days till it's due. I'm going to break down each day. I might do 300 words a day. Okay, that'll take me, so over 5 days I should have 1,500 words, and then that gives me 2 more days to review my work and check for information. You might decide, okay, I'm going to answer 1 sub-question a day, or you're going to say, I'm going to do 1 section here per day. Or by the next 2 days I want to have at least 1,000 words written down. So you want to try and break down your chunks. Some of you might be a fan of the night before method, and if that works for you, that's fine, but I think you just got to run the risk and consequence of not getting it done on time, losing sleep, and it may not be your best work. Because I think one of the best things about chipping away at it is that you might do those 2 points in 1 day, and then 3 days later, once you've written a bit more, you might come back to that and go, oh, I didn't actually write that sentence very well. Because you've had time to reflect on it, your brain's going to be processing the information for you in the background anyway. So I guess that's the problem with the night before method, is a lot of the time it comes across really rushed. You don't have much time to review and revise your work. Whereas if you're chipping away at it, you're looking at your essay again with a fresh brain every day. So if you chip away at it and say do 200 words a day, which is literally next to nothing. Like here, this is 250 words right here. Okay, so you can write that easy. That's half a page a day. That's not much at all. So if you were to break it down like that, the next day you go to look at it, you might notice a spelling mistake, or you might notice a sentence that doesn't flow very well. So I really do recommend chipping away at it. My last thing I want to mention is to submit a draft and seek teacher feedback. So that's probably one of the best things you can do. Now, just a reminder that Friday this week's the last date that you can submit that draft. So it's the 17th today, so that'll be on the 19th that is the last time you'll be able to submit a draft. Okay, so make sure that you take advantage of that and you get that in. That'll be Friday midnight, and I will check them over the weekend. Now, that's not to say I can't look at your essay at all throughout the week, but what I'm going to end up doing is say you've written a sentence here, pretend this is your essay and I don't like it, or there's something wrong with it. I'm going to add really detailed comments on the side, and I'm going to unpack it here. I might say this point doesn't link very well to the question, you should do blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to leave really detailed feedback like that, which you can then look at and resolve, and make sure that you get done on time. Okay, so past that Friday due date, I'm able to look at it and give it a quick scan, but I'm not going to have the time to sit down and formally mark and go through everyone's. Okay, so that's why it's due on Friday, so I have plenty of time to be able to give you all that deep feedback, and it also keeps it fair as well, that everyone has the same opportunity to be able to submit that. Okay, that's it. Apart from that, you can have a little heading here for your assignment. You can have a heading for bibliography. I would probably suggest that you put that on a separate page, just because it looks a bit neater. I would also make a header and have your name up the top. So if it was me, I would write Robert Brown, write my class, and you might even write my name in case you get lost. Okay, so that way I know on every single page, I know that this assessment's yours and that I'm reading it. And similarly, I would recommend putting a footer or a page number at the bottom. I personally like the page 1 of 1, 1 of 2, so if I lose a page I know how many there are in total, but you can just write page 1, page 2, that's fine. That's just to make things a lot easier. You have to end up doing that for your PIP anyway, so it's good practice to get into the habit of doing that as well. Alright, that's one thing I might show as well. Actually, a lot of people are not sure. I think you know how to do size 12 Arial or Times New Roman, but line spacing, essentially you just highlight, or you can press Ctrl A to highlight the whole thing, and there's a line spacing button here. What you want to do is change that to 1.5. One thing that'll do is it'll make your research look a lot bigger, which is a nice little confidence boost, but that's the requirements that they have for the PIP as well, so we're going to mimic those requirements in our assignment because that's the nature of our subject and that's what we're training for. So if you have any more questions, also feel free to come see me, email me anytime, but I hope that helps, and I'll see you guys later. Good luck.